are good to go.
Okay, hi, everyone. I'd like to call to order the September 8th Board of Trustees meeting for the Norwalk Public Library. Present are myself, Alex Knopp, Laurel Peterson, Sharon Benante, Ralph Bloom, Mary Mann, Janie Williams, Patsy Brescia, and Sherelle Harris. And I think it's only Tom who's not here. So I've never done this before, so you guys can tell me if I'm not doing something right. So the next order of business is the approval of the July 14th, 2022 meeting minutes.
I move approval.
Yeah. Second.
Oh, you know what? I don't think we have a secretary. Oh, no, she's here. I'm sorry. I see her now.
Yeah, I think she's been on.
She's
Um,
here. Let me see if this is Tom. Oh, nope.
Okay, and I'm just confirming that Telesco is indeed on.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, she's here. Yeah.
okay. So all in favor? Say aye.
I'm sorry, I have one.
Okay,
friendly-
sorry, discussion.
That's okay. Yeah, I just have one friendly change. Page 1, it says Miss Benante moved, and it should be moved with an M. That's it.
Okay, move to accept with Sharon's change. Or vote to all in favor with
All
Sharon's
right.
change, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so are there any additions to the agenda? I would just like to say that number 7 on the agenda, the Sono Library repurposing project is going to be postponed to September 13th at 5:30. And all of you who are like particularly interested in the Sono Library design, and all of you are invited to attend that meeting. And Silver Petroselli will be present to go over the designs.
Amorna,
Yeah,
if I could, you might, in the minutes, you might want to give people a chance to abstain who were not present for the meeting.
at which meeting?
If, on the minutes, the approval of the minutes,
For July.
right?
Oh, okay. July, oh, sorry, thank you. Would anyone like to abstain for July meeting minutes? Was everybody in attendance?
I don't think Laura was.
Yeah, I might not have been there. That's fine. If you want to put me down as an abstention, that's fine.
Okay. So Laurel is going to abstain on approval of the July 14th meeting minutes. So so that's one kind of change or to the agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda? Okay, and it doesn't look like there are any members of the public present. So moving right along, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Doreen Jackius, the East Granbury's Library Director, and her husband, Thomas Jackius. Sherelle sent out an article about their really tragic passing last week. Okay. So I just had a couple of remarks that I'd like to make as part of my report. I'd like to begin by saying that I'm very honored to serve as president of the Norwalk Public Library. I feel really privileged to work with all of you. I know I've known you for several years now. Laurel, a little less so, but and I know each of you really, really cares about the mission of the library. And we have a very talented staff. I have had the chance to work with Cheryl for the past couple of months quite closely. And I know she is very dedicated to the library, and we're very lucky to have her. And as well as our staff and supervisors who it's a pretty great team. And I am confident that we are going to continue to do great things with the Norwalk Library System. So moving along, I wanted to bring up the efficiency study. You know, we had, it's been I guess a few months since it was published, and Sherelle wrote a report which we responded to, and I kind of consider that not a one and done, but something we are going to revisit. And we as a board have not really had an opportunity to address some of the things in that, some of the recommendations in that efficiency study. And I think that study gives us a real opportunity to take stock. It, you know, kind of recommits us back to the state statute and the city code, and gives us an opportunity to really relook at our bylaws, which were created in 2005. So, so I think, you know, one of the things that I'd really like to do out of this efficiency study is one, to kind of look at our governance and probably relook at our bylaws and make them current given our current structure. And the second thing that the report really recommends that we do is to figure out, to clarify our role with the Community Services Department. It's a new position and function in our city government. And given that we kind of fall under their umbrella in a way, at least in certain aspects of our functioning, to clarify our role with that department and how we work with them, how we retain independent and advocate for ourselves. And so, and the other thing is some internal operations, which, you know, the board will be working with Sherelle. Sherelle will be taking a lead on some of those things that she's already started to do. And I know she's been working with Lamond on some of those, that internal operations and in concert with us. So we're obviously not going to do this today, and we're certainly not going to do it in a meeting or two, or maybe, or even three. But over the next month, I think at the next month's meeting, I'd like to present a plan. I know Alex has presented a plan, and I'll be looking at that one too, but present a plan to all of you on how to proceed forward, thinking that it might be, you know, December. I mean, it would kind of run through fall and winter probably. And I'm not exactly sure about the specifics of how, you know, whether we're going to take up a separate time or incorporate it into our board meetings. But I think this is really, really important work. And the sooner we address some of these things, the better. And so I'd like to kind of just stop there and see if there's any discussion on this. Okay. If there's no discussion, the next thing, over the summer, there was some back and forth in emails about a state grant, and that the city had, kind of thought we would be a good applicant for, send out some of that information. It's called the Community Investment Fund. And so we haven't had a chance to talk about it. So I just want to kind of talk about what happened and what I think we need to start thinking about moving forward. So as you know, we've kind of been on hold with our Belden renovation project since COVID. And a lot has happened since COVID. But the city, kind of was told us about a grant for it's 875 million pot of money to be distributed to municipalities over 3 years. And it has 2 rounds of funding per year. There was a deadline, and city thought, we are a good project for this. It's like you can get tens of millions of dollars for projects on this. So we moved very quickly, and of course, when Jess went back to the architectural firm or the design firm to ask about costs, like nearly all the costs had doubled, and it was, clearly we weren't ready to submit a package in the circumstance, but there are more rounds of funding, and the city is going to be applying for things. And I think this opens up a door of conversation about, looking forward to the state or the city, and just restart like thinking about our renovation of Belden Avenue. It has been 40 years since Belden has been renovated. I think I was like 12, which I'm totally dating myself when that happens, but it's really high time. And so we will be reaching out to the city to try and start talking about this in terms of, we have a building plan that was done before COVID, how we need to revisit that building plan, given current construction costs, which have like practically doubled, while still kind of remaining true to our vision and trying to be bold about what we want for the future, and without having to sacrifice too much of what we want. So I just want to say that was the grant, that was kind of what happened, and moving forward, try and bring Jess and the mayor's office back into the fold about how to proceed forward, and a timeline too, because I think there are things happening with the which are kind of not fully clear yet around some of the other properties around us as well. So I'd like to kind of keep that moving as well. Any questions?
I have a couple of comments. My understanding, this grant is available to about 59 town cities out of
Okay.
our 169, based on demographics within the community. So that's a plus, and that funding is available several years in a row for the same project if you're ready. But you mentioned, being on a standstill since COVID. And I think it would be really helpful if the board did a tour of the building, and the plans that we had, and see how we feel about what was presented 3-4 years ago versus any changes we might want. So the physical walkthrough, I think, is so helpful. So I'd like us to sort of start with something like that.
I think that's like a terrific idea,
Yeah.
Patsy.
Yeah.
And you know, because we've been on Zoom and who knows how long we're going to stay on Zoom. We need to all collectively, I think, get back into the building and really like walk the place with a kind of an eye to the future. And so if we can't do that during a board meeting, we'll have to set up a separate time to do that. I mean, it won't be an official meeting. There'll be no actions taken, but just, and we can work with Sherelle to schedule that date. And, you know, we can all just walk through and get a sense of things as how you know, our patrons and our staff kind of are experiencing and using the building. So let's do that.
Do we have feedback? Sorry, do we have feedback from the staff about what they would like?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, please. Yeah.
So basically, when we had an organization that came in and they interviewed staff as well as the community.
So maybe, you know what, I'll send around the building plan that consultant did for us. And so I'll send it around and we can read it and go through it. And then before we do the walkthrough and kind of with that building plan in mind as we go through, you know, do we need the large auditorium? You know, let's like, you know, maybe we need to revisit some questions like that. I don't know, you know, do we need more like small work spaces because people are working remotely more than ever now, you know, private spaces. So some questions like that. And so I think, so we have the Sono building. I'm trying not to do too many meetings, but with the Sono meeting, so maybe within the month, should we do it before the next board meeting or after the next? Maybe before, right before.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I think,
go ahead.
yeah, there are also a couple other things happening around us at Belden, and that's the realignment of Wall Street, you know, at Belden and West Avenue. And then, you know, the changes that they're making to the Yankee Doodle garage. So having that as part of the issue, because one of our big concerns was access to parking and getting a better connect between the Yankee Doodle garage and a safe crossing of either Belden or West Avenue. So we need to get updated on where the city is with that plan too.
Yep.
Oh.
So
And I
maybe,
think Jessica Casey probably could get that material for us.
yeah. So I'll be in touch shortly about a date that maybe we can all do this together in the early evening. So okay. So that's it's my report, and I'm going to hand it over to Sherelle.
Hello again, everyone. Hello.
Hello, back.
So I have a full agenda here. So staffing, happy to say that we have hired a branch manager. Yay. So we can't release her name as yet. She asked for anonymity and so she can resign from her current position. So I'm going to respect that, but hopefully at the next meeting, I'll be able to announce who she is. And we also hired a part-time technician, desktop technician, just to help with technology. I would love to have fidelity to both libraries when it comes to technology. So I think a second person will help with that, in addition to helping when we go to Sunday hours and also more evening hours. So someone will be, the city closes, they're usually out by 5. And so if we're open until 8, we'll need somebody to cover those hours in the event, something goes wrong. So just thinking ahead.
Sherelle, when is the branch manager gonna start?
That's to be determined too.
Okay,
So my understanding is that the branch manager's boss was on vacation. And so, just needed time, for the return of the boss and then to, just see what needs to be done and that sort of thing. So we're hoping October. We're looking at hopefully October. Any other questions? Okay, so moving into evening hours. So I met with supervisors and we were thinking, so the branch is currently open Tuesday evenings. The main library is open on Thursday evenings. After COVID, we shortened the hours actually to 7. It used to be until 8:30. We found that basically after 8, nobody's really using the library. So, but we're thinking we need to extend back at least to 8 so that organizations like just say, what's the word? Just business organizations that want to come in, just say if someone gets off at 5:30, they have to get home or get, organized. 7 is a little early to close. So we'd like to open until 8. And we were thinking having the branch open or the Stono Library, excuse me, Patsy, the Stono Library open until, Mondays and Tuesdays, and then have main open on Thursdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. Fridays are typically slow in both buildings. We didn't think there was a need to open on a Friday evening. And so we're thinking of having that begin mid-October. I think it was I want to say the week of October 17th. And and having Sunday hours, which will be from 1 to 5, also begin that week as well. Because we have the holiday, as I think October 10th. So we thought we would just begin after the holiday. And the other thought was to be open during the school year. So to run from September going forward, September until May. Only because we have lots of vacations and we have to cover Sundays, and Sundays is optional. And we have lots of vacations, staff, during the summer, and, patrons are on vacation during the summer. But we're more than happy to revisit that if anyone thinks it should be open during the summer.
And then there's the possibility of maybe doing evenings and not weekends. Is there that possible? Could we do one or the over the summer?
Oh,
We
yeah,
can revisit. We can
no,
revisit.
that's actually a good point. So that's a point of discussion too. If we want to talk about summers not having evenings and maybe having Sundays or not having Sundays and having evenings. So very good point. So let me just.
Can I ask a quick question? I was curious if we could get a list, or not a list, just sort of the hours pre-COVID and what we have now, just so we can kind of see where we were. I know we've had so many changes, and maybe that would help the board understand kind of the progress that we are making.
So I can actually give that to you now. So pre-COVID, we were open 7 days a week. So the main library was open Mondays through Thursdays until 8:30. And Stono was open just the Tuesday. And then Sundays, 1 to 5. And if you need that in writing, Laura, do you want me to send it in writing? Okay.
Yeah, just like a comparison, because I know you know them by heart and you're really, very articulate with
Sure.
exactly what's happening, but we're, yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
and that information is gonna come into play with planning for the future, space-wise and anything else. So it's gonna be good to have, is that package.
Okay. Got it.
And also, Sherelle, what were you thinking in terms of how to let the public know that we're going to be open longer?
I guess we can send it out in the blast, have flyers. I don't know. If
The
we want-
paper, you could probably do the I mean, you could probably do the, maybe a press release.
For sure.
Yeah. And what about posters, stationary posters? Not on the bulletin board kind of thing, but in a more prominent traffic location. Yeah, to let people know,
Sure. Like maybe having, we can post it around the library in prominent areas and have it at circulation points. and
Yeah.
In people's bags, as they're checking out. Anything else? Okay. Let's see. So, as far as the main library being a polling place, everything went very well, for the pilot, during the primary. It went very well. We had an officer there in the morning. Well, actually, let's go back when they, everything went without hitch. They brought things over on Sunday. The building services person who was there, Matt Miller, he was very impressed. They were very efficient in and out. Same thing when they came on, was it Tuesday, very efficient. The police officer who was there in the morning was actually inside the building. He helped direct traffic. He was both downstairs and upstairs. So there was a little concern, for the afternoon because that officer was outside. So I just think we need to clarify whether the officer will be in the building or outside. There were, and so when they picked up, it was great. So it was a really smooth process. And I had the number of people, I want to say,
I think you told me it was like 115 or
100
how many, Moina?
151. You said.
151. So that's the number of people who voted.
And there was no parking problem with that amount, I would imagine.
No parking problem at all. Everything went very smoothly. So I guess we're set for November.
Yeah, we did vote, I think at the June meeting.
We voted both for the primary and the general.
Yeah. So it would be, great to know exactly, I mean, November's still a little ways away, but we can, we'll monitor that as well. Be good.
So the next item on the agenda is the update to the museum and Wi-Fi hotspot policies. So, I know we wanted to have these things went to Norwalk residents only, but, we were in violation actually of, the state statutes. So we get reimbursed, every year. They give us a little money. But the stipulation is that we have to lend, the same to non-residents as we do to residents. So anybody who has a card in our system, so whether it's a Westport or a Bridgeport resident and they have a card in our system, we have to lend to them. So the only change, basically was a one-liner, and we took out, lending to only Norwalk residents who have cards in good standing. Just to, let's see. Residents, so Norwalk Public Library System lends to adults age 18 and older with library cards in the Norwalk Public Library System that are in good standing.
Okay, does anyone move to accept the Wi-Fi hotspot, the new Wi-Fi hotspot lending policy, the museum pass policy with the changes?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any not in favor? Okay, so we move to accept those changes to the policy.
So thank you. for helping us remain in compliance. So thank you very much. So, library, main library parking lot signage. We had a patron who witnessed a near miss accident and wrote to me. And so I contacted the parking authority, and I just have to say, Jessica Casey, I think it's Vonacek, I think that's her married name. Her team, Sirach and, oh God, I can't think of the other person, but they're just phenomenal. Very easy to work with and very responsive. So what they've done is, let's see if I can. Hold on one second. We had so many screens open. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
So they put the do not enter sign. So this is what they've done. Let's just go through. So that's the entrance. So if somebody's coming the other way, it says do not enter. And then they have the arrows now. Oops.
But what happened to those one-way, the ones from the packet, the one-way?
Those are still there.
Oh, those are still there.
Yep, that's there, but this is addition. Do you need to see those?
No, I mean, I think they were in our packet unless somebody else wants to see them.
Yeah, these weren't, because this is recent, so they have the arrows now. What I was thinking, and maybe I'm wrong, I was thinking maybe the do not enter sign might go on the other side, so if someone's trying to come in, that way they know that's not the way to come in. This is great, because I guess if somebody goes around the wrong way, they know not to, but I think it might be great to have it on the actual, because some people try to come in the exit, so it might be nice to have a do not enter sign there, so they know that's not the entrance. Does everybody understand what I'm saying or not?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that.
All right, yeah, Cheryl, could I ask you a question, please?
Of course.
I was asked by a certain member of my family who will be participating in the independent author day,
I wonder who that is.
who shall remain nameless, but who just published the third book of short stories. That she was concerned about parking enforcement on Mott Avenue during that event, because as I think Laurel knows, there are somewhere between 30 and 50 independent authors who participate. They have to lug in their books and other stuff. The parking lot becomes filled, and then they're there during the day, but if they have to rush out because of the 2-hour parking on Mott, not in the parking lot, but on Mott Avenue,
For sure.
it causes a problem. So she was wondering whether you might talk to the parking authority about suspending enforcement on the meters, or sort of the metered parking on Mott Avenue during that day.
Is that a Saturday or Sunday?
It's
Let me just.
it's
see.
what? It's Friday and Saturday.
I hear somebody in the background. Who is that?
Oh.
Our wonderful author. Okay. Tell Betty anything for her.
Thank you.
I'm just-
Saturday, if we could point them to park, in between the district building and the bank over in that area and come in the back way. That will be hard to do on Friday for everybody, but that's good parking over there. And
Yeah.
and they, and I think you can let them in the side door, right?
For sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might help.
Yes.
Perfect. I'll work with Cindy on that.
Thank you. Well, these authors, are very difficult people. Lots of demands, flexible,
I
you know,
heard, I
I'm
heard that the
sorry.
authors' husbands I heard the authors
Oh,
are wonderful.
I
It's their
can see,
spouses.
I can see your argument, Cheryl. I'm sorry.
No, but happy to. That's a good point. Tell her thank you.
Thank you.
Very good point.
Um, So thanks for doing that, Sherelle. I think that I also thought it was really confusing. So I'm glad that somebody else brought it up in that way, and I hope it's going to be better now. But I guess just, like, let's just keep an eye on it, see if we need to, do something else. So hopefully there won't be any more complaints.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see, but they were very responsive, so and very easy to work with. So,
When did the parking, when did that happen? When did they put metered parking on the street?
so
That recently?
they have the 3 ways to pay,
Oh, right.
not necessarily the meters, but. 3
Right.
ways
I
to
mean,
pay.
3 ways to pay. Right.
Yeah, I guess I noticed, that one, because I'm usually like trying to get in and out, but I guess I noticed maybe, and it may have been longer, but I noticed within the last month or so that
Yeah.
it's there, but it's probably been longer than that.
It has.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure it's been longer than that, yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, and so COVID, at our main library, we've had 4 staff members who came down with COVID. I'm happy to say they're all back, very healthy. And so I spoke to the health department and I sent you all the CDC updates. So I sent that a while ago, so you should have that. The staff also has it. And what I like is that they can, there's a little portal now so that they can report themselves, like if they've had it, and then they can talk directly, with the health department and, for contact tracing purposes and, for numbers and just any questions that they may have of the city health department and any questions the health department may have of them. So, so very happy with that process.
What about Sono? Were there any?
Sono has
Wow.
never had any cases yet.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
yeah. And so, speaking of the COVID, we're having the booster clinics at Norwalk Public Library beginning in October. And we're trying to make sure that it's, around the book sale. So we may have either all at Sono for the first month or the first 2 weeks at Maine. They wanted to alter between the two, like 1 week at Sono, 1 week at Maine. But for October, we may have to have the first 2 weeks at Maine and then the last 2 weeks at Sono to accommodate the book sale. So, but we're really happy about that.
Is that for a special age group or?
What, they haven't said anything as yet, but I can ask.
Cheryl, can you also ask if they are giving the new booster out?
Okay,
2 new boosters.
got it. Okay, I will do that. Any other questions? Okay, you have the technology update in your report. I'll just, briefly outline the kiosks arrived. We didn't know they were going to arrive, but we were happy to receive, we were shocked and happy to receive them. So they are here and the city has the laptops, so they're configuring the laptops. So we should be ready to rock and roll with those pretty soon. And everybody remembers they were the one, you can just use your library card and dispense the laptop. So happy. Alex we had a meeting at Westport and we were just touring the library to look at their upgrades. And so they had one and we just loved it. So Lori Iflin led us in that charge to get everything going. So it's here. So as soon as we get all the wiring and the electricity and get our laptops back, we'll be ready to offer that service.
Great.
That's
And-
great, it impacts the discussion that we have had in the past and will have in the future about the facility going forward, because one of the kind of principles of modern library design is the flexibility of spaces.
Mhm.
And in the past, we had a fixed space where the computers had to be used. And with the kiosk, people can take that laptop anywhere in the library and use it. And therefore, you don't need necessarily to have a fixed dedicated space. And it creates that whole idea of flexibility. And that's, I think, one of the design principles going forward. So that's great to start that now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited, excited. I can't wait to see the patrons, the first few patrons who are using it. So excited. And so that's the great news for the technology. The not so great news is we have a delay in the technology upgrades for both of our community rooms. And, everybody's experiencing like shipment delays and things like that. So here we are. We were ready to begin, I think it was August 19th or 20th. But the delay for this one particular part looks like it's 8 months out or so.
Yeah.
So what they're looking at now is to see whatever they decide might be great to put in that place if it's the same quality. So, so anyway, there's the delay. The bad news is that there is a delay. The good news is that we can continue using the auditorium until we get to that point. And so the final thing on my report is, Sharon, did you see the outdoor furniture? Moina made sure that was in the report. So, Vicky and Cindy will be prepared to present on it next week. So if you have any questions or anything, you can ask the both of them.
So you mean at the next
At the
meeting?
next meeting, sorry,
Okay.
yes, not next
Yeah.
week.
May I ask, is it possible that do you guys have a floor plan for outside, like a space, because there's like that center corridor, and that's a good opportunity to do a couple single, it just would give us a better idea of what we actually need with like square footage. It must be somewhere, right?
I can ask Guardian and.
I think it's in the plan, the proposed plan, there should be a site plan.
Okay.
I sort of recall, I know I've seen it.
I'll find it.
Yeah, it just might be helpful.
Yeah, when we have our discussion for next time, then we can kind of look at it too, because there actually are a lot of questions in this that I think we need to, good questions that we need to
Sure.
answer before proceeding.
Mhm. So,
Even like shipments and things like that, it might be spring until we see it. So, but hey, that'll be good.
well, that's when we'll be able to use it. So that's
That's right.
So that's great. So other than that, we had a book giveaway, a backpack giveaway, and we had it was outdoor, over 250 people to stop by. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. So Tremaine Gilmore and his wife, they have a foundation because of their late son. And these are the things that they do in the community, and it was very well received. As a matter of fact, we have extra because so many people came, and they brought extra over so that we could give them out to the people who weren't able to receive them. And the summer youth employees, they were phenomenal, and we actually hired 2 of them at the main library to be shelvers, and they started this week. So
To be what? To be
shelvers to put away the books.
shelvers,
Mhm.
shelvers, okay,
Just phenomenal.
great.
Very nice program. Yeah. So
That's great.
that's all that I have.
Any old business? New business? Okay, so I move to adjourn.
Well, I'm happy to move to adjourn.
And so let's adjourn. And oh, I guess do we need to take a vote on that or no?
Maybe all in favor.
Technically, yes, yes.
Like you move, you adjourn. Okay, so let's move to the does everybody have foundation link?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to that.
Can I
Can we
just
do-
give a shout out to, I'm sorry, Patsy, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, we could go right to it. We don't have to wait till 8
No.
o'clock.
No,
or
no,
whatever.
no, no.
Oh,
We're gonna move
Okay,
right-
that's fabulous. Great.
I just want to give a shout out to Jeff Adoro, who's with us this evening. The city moved that the department heads will now run the Zoom. And I thought we were in person, so I was like, oh, we're safe. But now that, but he came on happily this evening to help out. And so Jeff, I just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
So I'll see
Night.
everyone on the other Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.